Hello, ladies, and welcome to the Liberated Woman podcast. I'm your host, Christiano Green, and I'm a mindset coach for women, and I help women overcome their limiting beliefs, self-sabotage, rejection, and doubts so that they can make smarter choices and take better action in their life so they can get results in their lives. So this week on the podcast, I really wanted to jump in and talk about why myself as a gay man has always been drawn more to women in my life, whether that's, in my business, whether that's been in career, whether that's been in friendships, relationships, even in my family, right? Been connected so much more to the feminine energy. And it's something that's kind of played out throughout my life. And when I look back on, the relationships that I've had, the friendships that I've had, the connections that I've had, over 90% of the relationships that I've had have been with women. And even though, of course, I've still had friendships with men and gay men growing up, a lot of the gay men that I was close with were actually also feminine kind of men. So I've always been kind of attracted to the feminine energy. I've always felt safe around the feminine energy as well. And, when I was in school time, I've shared previously that I got severely bullied, right? And the majority of the bullying was done by boys. I wouldn't call them men because we're in school, right? But it was boys. And I always felt, picked on, bullied, pushed around, and really struggled. Especially when it came to the male energy, the masculine energy, that unhealthy masculine, that kind of, we all know what that kind of energy is, right? And really throughout that period in school, the girls were the only ones that were kind of nice to me, right? They were the ones that were kind of, either stood up for me or kind of just, gave me that, are you okay kind of look. Maybe they weren't ready to do anything because they didn't want to get picked on or bullied as well. But I kind of sensed, that they were more on my side as well. Now, in my position of not wanting to get bullied or trying not to be seen, I didn't want to hang around the girls because I knew that if I was going to be just around the girls and I was the only guy with the groups of the girls, I was going to get picked on further. So I isolated myself from relationships and friendships there because there was fear within me that I would continue to get bullied or even attacked more because I was hanging around all the girls. So I just isolated myself and kind of just didn't have any friends growing up at all. So that was kind of where it came down to it. I chose not to, in a sense, even though back then it didn't feel like a choice. It felt like, survival. It felt like I was trying to survive throughout those periods. But to me, it was, I look back and it was a choice for me to do that as well. So moving out of school, though, I look back on the friendships that I made when I got into the workplace. Again, I still did have some bullying in the workplace, but of course, that was when I started to make some friends. And all the friends that I made were female. They were either, because I was working initially in a supermarket, right, on the checkouts. The majority of them were older ladies, right? Maybe they were in their 40s or 50s, even a bit older, right? That would work there. And they were always the first people that were really lovely and kind to me. They were kind of like a motherly figure to me, right? Even when I look back to, let's just start with the family, right? In my family, like my family, there's my mom and my dad and my two older brothers and my younger sister. Now, growing up, I didn't feel very close to my father. He was a busy man, working really hard to, provide for the family. And so I didn't really feel him around a lot, or when we were around, it was on the weekend and we had to do all the work in the yard. So I didn't really get a sense that I would ever have like, some deep conversations or even real conversations with him. And of course, me being, a scared little gay boy, I wasn't the type of person that would open up anyway. So I didn't really feel like the connection to my dad. And my brother's same thing. Like, my oldest brother is about 6 years older than me. So we really, he was living his life, doing his thing because, we're the younger brothers, right? So didn't really connect with him. My other brother was just a few years older than me, and we kind of fought a lot as well. My sister, we did fight as well, of course, but I knew that I was much more closer to her, and I played with her more. So I always felt more closeness to to my sister than my brothers. And that definitely played out growing up, from my period of, even to this day, I'm much closer to my sister. You know, when I did come out, Kylie, my sister joined my group of friends when I came out, and met gay friends and my friends, and she would come out partying with us. So she was part of the group of people that would go out every weekend. So she was in that group. So definitely had a much closer connection because we were almost like friends as well. Of course, throughout life, we have our ups and downs as any relatives will do, but we've remained really good friends until this day, right? She just visited me in Bali, we had a great time. So, definitely feel close connection to that. When it comes to my mum, she's the person in my life who I would say, in my family, who I've always been the closest to. I've always loved my mum. I've always, gone to my mum for when I've really needed her. I'm the type of person that keeps a lot into myself. I definitely did that growing up. But if I was anyone I would ever speak to, it would be my mum. And of course, have that love of a mother, right? We all know what that feels like as well. So definitely felt connected femininely within the family as well, and disconnected from the masculine side of it. When it came down to, like I said, women in general. Like I said, when I came out as gay, like I said, I would go out to the gay clubs. And of course, when you're at the gay clubs, majority of people are gay, like gay men and women as well. And then there's, of course, usually a lot of girls that come with their gay friends. So for me, I met a lot of girls in the clubs that I became friends with, friends of other gay men, right? And usually, like I said, I would look back and go, I don't even know whose friend, gay friend they came with, but I became friends with so many girls. And like I said, 90+% of the people that I was close with were women. And that's kind of been, the story moving forward as well in my life as friendships as well, because I just feel a much closer connection to women. I've always felt a lot safer around the feminine energy with women as well. Of course, there have been women in life where I felt like, they've tried to control me, or they've tried to, bully me as well in certain situations. But I've also noticed that doesn't sense like that's the feminine energy. It sounds like it came from more of the unhealthy masculine energy that we all have, right? Women and men have the feminine and the masculine, right? Um, so for me, growing up, always felt closer to women. And so when I was moving forward into my career in the corporate world, and I started growing teams, getting bigger, I started off, with a team of like 20 people, and it grew all the way up to 300 before when I left, you know, 3 years ago, actually left working. So yeah, the majority of the people that were also in my team that I employed that were close within my range, because when I'm in this position, you have layers below you. So literally the people that were my direct reports were all women, right? And that's not because I necessarily am sexist and I only wanted women around me. It was just those were people that were drawn to me, and the ones that I saw the potential and the connection with, right? And because, a lot of times when you're in a position where you're leading teams and you're running things, especially with the kind of team that we had it was with customer service and sales, right? For an online furniture and homeware company in Australia. And so because of the kind of stuff that we sold and the kind of clients that we had, majority of the clients were also women, right? Like, because most of the time, not to rest on stereotypes, but women are the people that love to take care of the home and to dress up the home and to really style it, right? I'm not saying that men don't, but if you look at percentages of that, it's much higher when it comes to women. So again, if it's in a relationship with a man and a woman, the woman's probably going to be the one doing the exploring, and then they might get a final say, with their partner. They might go, "Hey, I'm going to buy this. What do you think?" And oftentimes, again, it'll be that. Not always, but that's just generally how it plays out as well. So again, we had a high majority of female clients, and then a majority of people that worked for the company were also female as well. So again, it wasn't that, like I said, there wasn't men around. It was just, again, naturally flow of women that came to work in the company. And then naturally, as the team evolved, I was more comfortable and close with people that were doing really well. And again, they were all female. So the people that, like I said, were working in Australia and in the Philippines, all the people that were of the high position that were, like the my direct reports, were female. there as well. And that's just, again, naturally drawn to that. And so when you're doing the interview process, it's not that you have a bias towards it, but again, you have a likening to people. And again, if there's four people who have the same kind of credentials, it's going to go off the person you feel you can connect with the most, the one that's going to be the better culture for the business and for your team. And so for me, that was naturally women who showed up in those positions that came there as well. And then again, like I said, the whole team, 80% of the team was women. And then of the 20% that were men, probably over 50% of those were gay men as well. And again, there's a natural attraction to people who are more in tune with the feminine energy in that way. Again, I might sound a bit biased by doing it, but that was just naturally how it worked out. And we had a high performing, highly happy, satisfied team. So, I'm not someone who was like, yeah, this is the only criteria, blah, blah, blah. But I was a big person on culture, and I believed in picking the right people for culture. And just naturally, a lot of those were women. So, again, me working with people, me coaching people, me getting the best out of people, like I said, was always women. So when I was at a place a few months ago where I decided that it was time for me to make a change, because I wasn't feeling as passionate about it as I had been, I knew that I needed to make a change, and it felt like what I needed to change was who I was coaching. So I moved away from coaching gay men and I stepped into coaching women because, one, I have all of this experience, like I said, 15 years of coaching, and majority of them were women, where I was able to get great results for them in their life and then again in their career, to help them to progress and to move forward and to believe in themselves and to kind of continue their skills within communication and finding their voice and really handling things correctly. And so being able to move into now coaching women has allowed me to really just tap into what feels right for me. Like I said, if I'm drawn to more feminine people, if I'm drawn to more of the female, you know, gender when it comes to working with them, and I feel again, vice versa, that they're drawn to me as well, because it's also a 50-50 thing as well. But it was a natural fit for me to move into and coach women because I've been able to get such great results for the clients. And again, just the clients that have just started with me recently are loving it and getting great results. And it feels different. And that's the thing that I think that I'm glad that I've been able to pinpoint what it was that I was looking for and what was missing. And that was connection. And that was also just feeling the energy there as well. Because I'm a very energetic person. I'm very in tune with my own energy. I do a lot of work, when it comes down to healing, energy healing work, Reiki and pranic healing as well. I've done a lot of things when it comes to that here, especially in Bali, because pranic is very, big here. And again, I've always been told that you're very tapped in and tuned into your feminine. You're very connected to that side of myself. And when I grew up, like I said, I thought it was something that was a weakness, something that I should be connected to, because you get taught all these things, boys have to be tough, boys don't cry, and all these things. And like I said, when I got bullied, it was for a lot of that stuff. A lot of what I felt, from reflection was that they were bullying me for my femininity as well. It wasn't because of my gayness, because gay doesn't have a gender in the sense of male or female, right? You can be masculine and feminine in any sexuality that you are. They're completely different, right? So for me, it wasn't that. I didn't think that it was that. It had to do with the femininity, and they saw me as a target, as a of the male species in my physical body, but they were bullying me for my femininity. So I saw it as a weakness growing up, and it was only when I finally came out and did a lot of the work that I've done, I've seen it as a strength. For me to be able to connect to the feminine side and then be able to, like I said, assist women with that. I can help women, in relationship stuff, because I still have the body and the mind and the life of a man, right? Even though I'm tapped into the femininity, I still understand how the male works. So I can help women in that area. Also, I can understand and relate to people who have been, mistreated or misguided because of their gender. And again, I've like I said, I feel like I've been held back for my femininity, and sometimes in career, people don't want that. They don't think it's the right fit, or that they don't see it as something that's a strength, right? But it was only luckily that I fell into the right place and the right company that had a CEO who was also gay, who also didn't have those prejudices at all, that allowed me to shine, for me to step up as a leader and to really, like I said, lead the biggest team in the organization and have 300 people that, like I said, was also the highest performing team in the organization as well. So, like I said, I believe in women so much because, again, 80% of the team there that we led were women. I believe that there is so much strength in the feminine side. So tapping into that and allowing myself to evolve into that as I've healed and I've done the work on myself and as I've grown, really makes me feel so much more connected to this side and to then, like I said, find clients who are also connecting to my energy as well. So that's really what I wanted to share today because I feel it's important for me to talk about these kinds of topics. Why do I want to coach women? Why do women want to come and get coached by me? And it's just more about, like I said, my passion, my purpose, my mission. And like I said, if I can help women move past their own belief system and help them change that and evolve that so they can make smarter choices and take better actions in life, ultimately we're going to get better results for whatever it is, whether that's, like I said, love and relationships, whether that's career or business, whether that's health and well-being, whether that is, healing and transformation, whether that is finances, whatever it is, it's all possible. And working with the right person who can just help you to tap into your unique superpowers, that's exactly what it is that I do. So that's really what I wanted to share this week on the podcast. And I trust that if you've got any questions or comments around that, you know where to post. You can comment below here, or you can reach out to me directly if you want to have a conversation with me on social media, because I'm so open to that as well. And anyone who's interested in going a little bit deeper and working with me, I'm running my next Free Yourself From Rejection and Doubt 5-day challenge at the end of next week. So if you're hearing this and it sounds like that, I do run it monthly. So reach out to me and let me share with you some details. I'll leave a link below if you're curious, and you can find some more information about that. Because if you're curious about what it's like to work with me, working over these 5 days free is just a great way to understand and also to get some results, see how I can help you get results from the get-go. All right, ladies, I'm going to leave it there. I trust this has been valuable to you. I look forward to coming back next week. Always remember, you've got this and I've got you. Bye for now.